Hi,
What are you doing?
what do you mean, what am I doing?
You're really going to talk about that.
What?
You know,
What?
time of the month, women's troubles, Aunt Flo is visiting, the painters are in, Code Red, the Crimson Tide, the Curse of Eve, the Monthly Monster, the...
Periods.
Oh my gosh, you can't just say that. You can't just sit on the internet talking publicly about that. It's private and personal. It's like TMI,
No, it's
am I
not
right?
shameful.
It's something you keep
It's
to
just a
yourself.
thing
You
that
don't
half
talk
the
about
world's
publicly.
population
It's not
will probably
ladylike.
go through
You
at some
never
point
ask
in
questions
their
to anyone
lives.
ever.
It's a shame
And
created
even if you think
and
you're
attached
dying
to
and you
it
have so
that
many
makes it
questions, you don't talk to
shameful.
anyone. At the
It's
most, you
just
go
a
on
thing
Google
that our
on
bodies go
incognito
through. It's
mode,
important to
and
know
you
how
search
to take
answers,
care
and the
of our
answers
own
tell you
bodies.
that
The way to
you're
do it
dying
is
because
through
that's all the internet
education,
does apparently,
and
just
you
tells you you're
talk about
dying. It
it
doesn't answer any of your
openly
questions,
in a
and you're like,
non-judgmental
oh my gosh,
manner. Some
I'm
people
dying,
have people in
and
their
I
lives that they can
can't talk to
ask
anyone.
questions.
No, I can't.
Some don't,
No,
which is why we make these
I'm not
videos
talking
and
about
talk
it. No.
about it like this in such an open manner.
But you know, you're talking about down there, you know, downstairs, the basement, the southern parts, the nether regions, south of the wall.
Vagina.
Ugh,
Say it.
no,
Say it.
nope,
Say it.
nope,
Say it.
nope, nope.
Say it. Hello everyone. So as you probably guessed from the introduction, yes, we're going to be talking about menstrual cups. Just two disclaimers to throw out there. One, I am not a medical professional at all. I'm just going to be talking about my own personal experiences, and I've done quite a bit of research into this, so I'm just reporting my findings. And the second point is this video has not been sponsored by any menstrual cup manufacturer or company out there. I mean, I have 45 subscribers. No one's gonna sponsor me. I'm gonna be answering a bunch of questions. If you want to skip ahead to certain questions to get certain answers, I'm gonna put time codes for everything in the description. So I switched to menstrual cup about a year ago now, and I've been using them ever since. So it's around 8 months, 7 to 8 months now. So when we get periods, we're taught there are basically two methods to deal with it. You can use a tampon or you can use a sanitary pad. I had never heard of a menstrual cup until I was maybe 16 or so, because I went to the bathroom, there was a sticker on the toilet roll holder saying like, hey, why not try switching to moon cups? I was like, what the heck is a moon cup? Not gonna lie to you, when I first heard about using menstrual cups, I had a very strong aversion to it, because the idea of this like literally like a cup inside you, collecting stuff, and then like tipping it out and then using it again, it was just really grossed me out. But if you think about it, it's less gross than the stuff we're using already, because you know the sanitary pads, they just sit in your pants and they just collect blood and they're just there and they press against your skin until you change them. In the meantime, tampons stay in your body, just soaking up everything until you change them. So if you think about it, cups are actually less like icky. They go in your body, they collect everything nice and tidily, you take it out, you tip it out, you clean it, you're good to go. I switched to using menstrual cups for two main factors. One, you can keep them in for longer, and two, it's just really, really cost effective. So you can buy one cup and, you know, different companies will claim different things and different people will give different experiences. A common number thrown out there is that they can last around 10 years. So you buy the one thing and you're sorted for several years. So it's just far less wasteful than buying tampons and sanitary towels, because when you buy them, they come in all that packaging and all that plastic wrapping around it. And when you buy them, you are literally buying something to throw away. You're basically throwing money into a bin. Also, shout out to the tampon tax, because apparently sanitary products are a luxury item. So how I worked my way up to using a menstrual cup was basically you use a sanitary towel and then you use a tampon with an applicator. I'm just going to open this up for you. So this is the tampon with an applicator. It comes in like a plastic tube. Open it, you insert it inside, and then you push on this and focus camera, and that is the cotton thing that goes inside your body. You throw away this, so you can already see like there's a lot of plastic to be thrown away when you use these kind of things, and that is a tampon that you use. Once you're used to using tampons with applicators, you can just straight up use a tampon without an applicator. These are fairly messy because you are inserting them by hand inside yourself. Once you're familiar with using these, and these are getting easier to use, it's easier to then switch to a menstrual cup. That's how I progressed up. You can jump straight in if you really want to and you're feeling bold, but that's just how I felt comfortable moving up to a menstrual cup, and you can do the same if you wish. Anyway, other really good things about using a menstrual cup instead of a tampon or a sanitary towel is that it's much more environmentally friendly. If you think about the sheer number of how many of these you throw away every month, and then you think about the years, and you think about the collective masses of people who have periods and are doing this, there's just so much just piling up in the landfills. Whereas if you use this, you're no longer generating so much waste. Also, it's just better for your body, because if you think about it, cotton isn't this white naturally. Also, cotton has to be grown, so there's a lot of pesticides in this. Also, it's been really bleached to get this whiteness. All of that bleach and all of those pesticides, they're going inside you. It's not good. Whereas like these are made of medical grade silicone, which is much better for your body. As I briefly sort of mentioned before, these tend to dry you out because these are cotton. These are going to absorb all of the fluids inside you. It's hyperallergenic, and also these are really good for tackling odor problems, because let's face it, when the period comes out and it collects in the sanitary towel, it's there outside your body, and once it hits the air, it's going to react and it's going to cause odours. This is nice and safe inside you, and it eliminates that problem. The easiest way to talk more in depth about menstrual cups is by just answering loads of questions. So I posted in a group I'm in, which is a Zero Waste UK group, saying just ask me anything about menstrual cups and I'll do my best to research and find answers for you, and also share my own experiences. Again, not a medical professional, I don't have any medical qualifications, I have an English degree, and this is all my own experiences and my own research, and I will be putting all my sources in the description. So question number 1, how do I insert them? This is what a menstrual cup looks like basically. There's this little stem to help you grip it and pull it out, and this is the cup itself. This is one way to fold them. You just basically fold it in half, or the U shape. So you take that, push it like that, and then you got this little U shape that you then just insert inside. Well, my preferred method is the scoop. Take an edge, push it down into the bottom, and then you got a little scoop and you put it in, and then when you release, it's just going to unfold inside your body. By the way, menstrual cups aren't this like solid, like literal cup. They're very like bendy and foldy, as you can see. So you insert them the same way you would a tampon. So you clean your hands thoroughly, you can sit or squat, and just make sure you relax your muscles. You fold it however way you want, and you position it at the vaginal opening. I'm going to demonstrate it with my hands the best I can. You aim for the small of your back and you insert it at an angle, because it's not a straight canal up there, and you just gently push it in and it will open up. It usually doesn't like ping out and like hit you. This is just because I'm doing it out in the air. And then once it's in there, you give the base just a squeeze, just to make sure that it's all open and it's all sealed. You can give it a gentle tug just to make sure it's secure, and then voila. A thing to keep in mind is that these actually sit lower than a tampon does, because tampons, they have to go right up there. These, not so much. It will feel, I'm not going to lie to you, it's going to feel weird using your hands to insert something inside your body, but you will genuinely get used to it. Another thing to keep in mind is that it will take some practice to know how far up to insert this and which position is comfortable for you. So again, just relax, take your time, experiment with it, and just see what suits your body best. I do advise that when you first start using these, to use a sanitary towel along with it, because it does take getting used to, and sometimes you just don't get the seal in your body quite right. So when they're not inserted properly, it can cause leaks. So just use a sanitary towel as a backup. After a couple of cycles, you'll be completely fine with it. Another question: how does it stay put, and how do you know which size to get? So as I said before, these go in and then these expand. It forms a seal as your vaginal muscles will hold it in place. It's not going to fall out, don't worry about it. Your vagina isn't like a freaking water slide. In terms of sizing, there are usually two kinds of sizes. So one, if you're like me, you're under 30 and you have not given birth vaginally, or just not had kids in general, or have given birth via cesarean. And then the other size is for people who have given birth vaginally or are above the age of 30. As a general rule, it will depend per person. Okay, next question is, okay, these are in, how do I remove them? These are inside you. So you put you use your finger and your thumb. Yeah, they have to go inside you. Just wash your hands after it. Wash your hands before, wash your hands after it. And then you can put on this stem. This is just what you grip on to help you remove it from your body. You can trim it as short as you like. Some people cut it very, very short because you just pinch the bottom to remove it anyway. A thing to reassure you guys is that it's not going to get lost in your body because your vagina is not a vacuum cleaner. And you just pull on it until you can pinch the bottom of it, and then that will break the seal in your body. And you can just pull it out, empty it, clean it, and either reinsert it or just put it back in its little pouch or bag or whatever the cup comes with. I'm going to be perfectly honest with you, it's messy when you're not used to it. Over practice, it's just going to get a lot easier and just less messy, but when you first do it, it's not pretty. Okay, next question. How do you clean these? The very first use, when they're just out of its packaging, follow whatever instructions the booklet told you. For this, which is the Lily Cup Compact, which I use, it advised me to submerge it in boiling water for 5 to 8 minutes, which is what I did. And when you're actually using it on your period, when you take it out to empty out, you don't actually need to sterilize the cup between uses. I mean, you can do if you really want to. You can clean it very thoroughly with the right soaps and with boiling water. However, it's not necessary. And yes, it does sound gross to not like fully 100% like clean it, but because of the material it's made from, it's okay. They're made from medical grade silicone, which is very, very easy to clean. Another question is, how do you empty and clean them in public bathrooms? It's commonly advertised that they will be fine for around 12 hours. Time will differ depending on your flow. I'm going to cover that later. Because you can wear them for so long, you can usually put them in the morning and then you're fine for the whole day until the evening, when then you just empty it out again. However, in public bathrooms, it's easiest if you are in a stall which has a sink inside it. However, I know that is not the case all the time. So you clean your hands thoroughly, go into the cubicle. Once it's emptied, you can just wipe it with toilet paper and then reinsert it. That's because, again, because the material it's made out of medical grade silicone, so you will be okay with just emptying out, wiping it off and putting it back inside. That is like standard practice, by the way. It's not just like me and my methods. Next question is, can you just use the one throughout your cycle, or do you need a few? I personally just have the one because I don't see a need for having multiple. Because you're constantly using the one whilst you're on your period. They are incredibly strong. They are genuinely built to last, and so you don't really need to worry about like stocking up in case they break in a few months. I think cups are a little hard to get our heads around because we're so used to buying things to use once and throw away and be taught like this is the only hygienic way, or like we have to like stock up on things and buy lots of things. Next question. Are all brands the same? To be honest with you, I've only used the one cup because I use this, perfectly happy with it, and again, there's just no need for me to have more than one. I would say the main difference is in design and colour. So for example, just how they're shaped and like the thickness of it. I would just read up on reviews and just really do your own research into certain brands that you're interested in. I have put a bunch of brands in the description, by the way. So it's a lot of UK brands, US brands. Most of them do ship internationally. Unfortunately, my research is limited to UK and US because I research menstrual cups for work as well. So if you do have any more recommendations, let me know and I'll be constantly updating the description. Basically, all cups have the same function. There's nothing particularly jazzy or snazzy about each one. I would say that a particularly unique one is the Lily cup because I'm going to talk about it more in my review, but basically the unique thing about this is that it is, there we go, it's collapsible. Bing! Do they ever split? Silicone is very, very durable. And again, these things are designed to last years. According to Diva Cup, a general guideline is to get a new one once a year, but that's entirely up to you if you do want to replace them. In my personal opinion, there's no need to replace it that regularly. If you keep it in good condition, just check it in case of any damages and in case of any deterioration. Maybe in like several years time, maybe like 5 years or so, they'll start to show signs of wear and tear, in which case you would then get rid of it and get a new one. Again, it's a soft material. It's not like a hard thing that's gonna like crack and stuff. Like I can just like squeeze it and it's fine. How long can you keep them in for, and can I sleep with them in? Lots of menstrual cups boast about offering 12 hours of protection, but that is entirely down to your own personal flow. So for me, the first few days of my period are extremely heavy and then it lightens over the next few days. So when I very first started using them, I had to empty them every 4 hours, not 12. As time went on in the later stages of my period, about every 8 to 9 hours. Something interesting I've discovered is that it seems that using a cup has made my period lighter. So for nowadays, on heavy days, I can go around 6 hours without emptying them, and for 10 hours on lighter days. According to my research, a lot of people have expressed discovering the same thing, like using a cup has seemed to make the periods lighter, but I have found like no scientific evidence that these things genuinely make your periods lighter. But just might be a bonus you discover if you start using these. I should stop like waving it like this. The Moon Cup website advises using it for 4 to 8 hours to be on the safe side. I would advise don't leave them in for longer than 12 hours and make sure you take it out. Set reminders if you need to, because toxic shock syndrome is no joke. Regarding sleeping, I personally sleep with mine in because it does last that long. And these are just so much better than like night sanitary towels and the tampons, because on those days I was just constantly worrying about having to deal with leaks and having to get up in the middle of the night to change them, and what if, you know, I leak and I ruin my bed sheets. And like, as you can see, my bed sheets are white. With this I can sleep so much better because they're not going to leak. I'm completely fine with these. Next question. Do you feel the menstrual cup? Does it move when you walk? And is it uncomfortable when you sit down? Absolutely not. You don't feel it at all. I can completely forget that it's in there, which is why it's so important to set reminders to take them out. When they're correctly inserted and positioned, it's like a tampon. You can't feel it in your body. I was saying from my personal experience, these are much more comfortable than a tampon, because with tampons it feels like my body has to like grip around it and it always causes a lot of aching for me. With the cup, it's much easier on my body and it's just really reduced my cramps. Someone asked, can silicone be dangerous? Can you absorb the chemicals? Now, there are many forms of silicone. The one that's used for menstrual cups is medical grade silicone. It's the same type that is used for feeding tubes and like I don't know how to pronounce it, like catheters, those things that are used in hospitals to treat people. So as far as I have researched, again, I'm not a medical expert or scientific professional. There is no evidence or strong argument that these are not safe for you. And to be honest, these are better than tampons and pads because, as I mentioned before, They contain a lot of chemicals to process the cotton and bleaching to make them like so white. Someone else asked that they read somewhere that the suction from a cup can cause damage to a person's cervix upon removal. Is there any truth in this? Okay, again, not a medical professional, but I did ask this question to my older sister, who is a practicing doctor. She says that it is highly unlikely that menstrual cups possess that much suction power and can cause any real damage to you. Again, according to my research, there's no real evidence that it has a powerful suctioning power to damage you. Menstrual cups are not plungers, and they're not like constantly like sucking at your insides once they're inside you. However, it is not advised that you simply like grab the stem and like yank it out. You have to break the seal, so you just pinch the bottom, seal's broken, and then you can just slide it out. Another question is, are there any other viable options for those of us with a retrograde or tilted cervix? Guess who did an English degree and not a medical one? According to my research, it's advised that if you find tampons or routine pelvic and vaginal exams to be very uncomfortable, consult your doctor, because your body might not be built to have menstrual products inside you. Now, cups sit lower in your body than tampons do, so regardless of your cervix, it should be fine. According to the Moon Cups frequently asked questions, they found that it's usually okay. However, there are a small number of individuals who are unable to use them. I would definitely check with your doctor about this and not some random girl on the internet, because it will matter by a case-by-case basis. That's all the questions I have. I think I've covered a lot. If there are any further questions, just ask in the comments. Don't worry about sounding stupid, because if you knew the answers, you wouldn't ask the questions. You can all talk, discuss, share experiences and stories. I've put links to a bunch of very highly reviewed menstrual cups in the description. They're mostly US and UK brands, and I think there's an Australia brand in there as well. Most of them do ship internationally. I will mark them. If you know any more good brands, do let me know and I will add them to the description. Okay, thank you all very much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.